So just how secure is our New Mexico border? The pedestrian fence ends west of Santa Teresa. This post and rail fence continues for about 8 miles. Here is more of the border fence. Here is the Normandy vehicle barrier. The top rail is 3 feet. And this is how to drive a vehicle over the Normandy vehicle barrier. This photo of the border barrier was taken from Highway 9. Arroyo culverts under the highway allow for easy passage into the proposed wilderness area. Here is a very large gap in the Normandy barrier. This washout is only inches from the legs of the barrier. The rock structure has not stopped the erosion. How long before the barrier falls into the arroyo? There are 65 miles of barbed wire fence along the border that serve as the only barrier between New Mexico and Mexico. This is near Antelope Wells in the Boot Heel. This barbed wire fence at Antelope Wells was erected in the 1930s. Border Patrol agents from Lordsburg volunteered time and labor to add the extensions to the top of the fence. What are the criteria for the perfect drug or human smuggling corridor? It must have wilderness or de facto wilderness safe havens. It must be almost entirely or heavily dominated by federal land agency management. Must have east-west highway access north and south of the corridors. Must have rugged and complex north-south mountain and drainage orientation which provides channels of movement. Must have high, strategically located points of observation. And must have a limited number of American residents. Let's look again at the map and determine if Bingaman's Wilderness becomes the perfect smuggling corridor. Highway 9 parallels the Mexican border between Santa Teresa and Columbus. Interstate 10 extends the width of the nation from California to Florida. The east and west Potrillo Mountains and the Florida Mountains run north and south between the Mexican border and Interstate 10. There are numerous high peaks to offer observation points in the area. Much of the land in the Potrillos area is already owned by BLM or is a wilderness study area. There are very few ranch families living in the area. In addition, there is a major north-south interstate extending almost to the Canadian border, and an east-west railroad with approximately 80 trains per day. There is plenty of wide open space for ultralight aircraft to land, and they have been spotted in this area. A large portion of New Mexico is in the high-intensity drug trafficking areas, which are shown here in yellow. Notice that Doñana, Luna, and Hidalgo counties are all in yellow. The New Mexico Department of Agriculture has identified the area south of I-10 to the Mexican border and from Las Cruces to the Arizona state line as the corridor. Livestock scale inspectors will only enter the corridor by appointment and accompanied by an armed law enforcement officer. If the New Mexico Department of Agriculture doesn't think the corridor is safe, just how safe is it for the ranchers who live here or the visitors who come to hunt or spend a day hiking in the desert? Smugglers are already using the proposed wilderness as drug routes. This 25-pound package of marijuana was found on February 10, 2010 by an area rancher. This abandoned drug vehicle was found on the same ranch about 8 miles north of the Mexican border and within the proposed wilderness area. On June 7, 2011, Larry Link of Stein's Ghost Town on Interstate 10 near the Arizona state line was found murdered. Was he the victim of drug smuggling illegals? Hidalgo County Commissioner Ed Kerr said there is undocumented immigrant and drug activity in the area where Link was killed. Quote, "Last summer in August, I found 5 bundles of marijuana on my ranch land about 50 feet from the freeway. That can't be more than 8 or 10 miles from Larry's, he said. They were scattered about. One was under the billboard, one was beside the fence. Illegals with empty backpacks had dropped their load. I-10 is obviously a connecting point. We're getting a lot of traffic, more than what we've seen in the past couple of years. They have ultralight planes flying out of Mexico and dropping off bundles and then illegals walking and picking them up. 3 years ago, Kerr said, he found 7 undocumented immigrants hiding in a culvert on his land off of Highway 338. This from the Las Cruces Sun News. Only the name has changed. As 1689, the Oregon Mountains Desert Peaks Wilderness Act was introduced by Senators Bingaman and Udall in September 2009. It was passed out of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee in July 2010. As 1689 died on December 22, 2010, when the 111th Congress adjourned without bringing the bill to a vote on the floor as either a standalone bill or included within a public lands omnibus bill. On May 19, 2011, in the 112th Congress, Senators Bingaman and Udall reincarnated the Wilderness Bill under the name of S. 1024, Oregon Mountains, Doña Ana County Conservation and Protection Act. The bill has been referred to the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee, and a hearing was held on August 3rd in the Subcommittee on Public Lands and Forests. Only 2 of the 15 committee members were present, as Congress had adjourned for summer recess. Senator Bingaman was not present to testify for his own bill. Only one oral testimony was invited and presented, that of Bob Abbey, the BLM director, who favors the bill. The hearing on this bill lasted 52 seconds. Written testimony accepted into the official record against the bill included letters from People for Preserving Our Western Heritage, the National Association of Former Border Patrol Officers, Doña Ana County Sheriff Todd Garrison, Hidalgo County Sheriff Madero, the Greater Las Cruces Chamber of Commerce, the Doña Ana Soil and Water Conservation District, the Office of Biosecurity at New Mexico State College of Agriculture, the Mesilla Valley Sportsmen's Alliance, the Building Industry Association of Southern New Mexico, the Rio Grande Soaring Association, the Las Cruces Tea Party, and private citizens' comments in Frank Du Bois' special edition of his Westerner blog. Luna County Sheriff Cobos and the Luna County Administration have sent letters to Senator Bingaman and Senator Wyden, chairman of the Subcommittee on Public Lands and Forests, opposing S. 1024. Over 800 professionals, businesses, and organizations have joined the People for Preserving Our Western Heritage Coalition opposing a wilderness on our border. Don't let what has happened in southern Arizona repeat itself in southern New Mexico. Let's not allow wilderness on our southern border.